Welcome, Chapter 2, Section 8, Part C, Function Composition. If I have f of x is 7x plus 8, as I wrote here above, then f of y is 7y plus 8. F of q is 7q plus 8. F of g of x is 7 times g of x plus 8. Well, g of x, we said, is the square root of 3x plus 4. So that's 7 square root 3x plus 4 plus 8. Instead of saying f of g of x, we just say f dot g of x. Now, that little circle does not mean multiply. That means function composition. We could say g of f of x, and that's something very different. That's g dot f of x. What would that look like? Well, if g of x is the square root of 3x plus 4, g dot f of x, that's the square root of 3 times f of x plus 4. So we're going to put f of x in for x in this function. That's the square root of 3 times f of x, 7x plus 8 plus 4. Now, there wasn't much we could do with f dot g of x, but g dot f of x, that's going to simplify a little bit. We can bring that 3 into the parenthesis. 3 times 7x plus 3 times 8 plus 4. That's the square root of 21x. Now, 3 times 8 is 24, plus 4 is 28. I can factor a 7 out of that, but it doesn't really help me at all. I cannot take the 4 as a perfect square out of there. Either of these answers are fine for g dot f of x. This answer is fine for f dot g of x. That's function composition. Let's do some more of those. If f of x is 3x squared minus 7x, and g of x is 4x plus 2, f dot g of x, the second one goes inside. Excuse me. That is 3 times g of x squared minus 7 times g of x. But everywhere we have g of x, we're putting the function in. So this is 3 times g of x. Squared minus 7 times g of x. Now I've got to square that g of x before I multiply by 3. So we've got 3 times 16x squared plus 16x plus 4 minus 28x minus 14. That's 48x squared plus 48x. You could read my 48. Plus 12 minus 28x minus 14. That's 48x squared plus 20x minus 2. I can factor a 2 out of that, but it doesn't really help me. That's a fine answer. If you factor the 2 out, either way's good. If we had g dot f of x, now the f of x is inside. Does that make sense when I say the inside function versus the outside function? Now I've got g, which is 4x plus 2, but that's 4 times f of x plus 2. And where we have f of x, we're going to put 3x squared minus 7x. That's it, I guess. And I still have, didn't mean to do that. Well, too bad. Still have the plus 2 from the g of x guy. That's 12x squared minus 28x plus 2. Again, I can factor a 2 out of that, leaving me with 6x squared minus 14x plus 1. But that's a fine answer. That covers compositions. Now, in the homework, they're going to give you the composition and ask you to figure out what g and f of x is. So the key is to find the inside guy. If g dot f of x is 3 plus the square root of 5x minus 2, then this could be f of x, the inside guy, and g of x calls that guy x. That whole thing is x. And so g of x is just the outside stuff, which is 3 plus the square root. Where we want f of x, we put an x. Let's try another one of those. There's more than one answer to this. But there's more than one wrong answer as well. If g dot f of x is 14 minus 6x plus 2 squared, then the inside stuff is going to be the f of x guy, because f of x is inside. G dot f, that's g of f of x. So f of x is going to be the 6x plus 2. G of x, we're going to use x for where we're putting f of x, and that's going to be 14 minus x squared. If f dot g of x, now g of x is the inside guy. The inside man, we'll call him. If f dot g of x, that's f of g of x, is 6 times x minus 3 to the third power plus 7. The inside stuff could easily be x minus 3. So g of x in this case is the inside man, x minus 3. Now what am I doing to x minus 3? F of x is the outside. So where we had f of x, we're putting an x. F of x is 6 times x cubed plus 7. Those are my two functions. That does it for composition of functions. If I can find my done key.